Today, we'll be doing marketing part 1. Now, what are the learning objectives? First of all, we'll understand the concept of marketing and then discuss the functions of marketing. Now, what is marketing? Marketing at one point of time used to be a place where buyer and seller meet. We used to go to the shops and buy goods from there. You knew who the seller knew who the buyer was. Now that has all changed. Now we can buy our things through the internet. The seller doesn't know who the buyer doesn't know who the seller is. So Philip Kotler has defined marketing as a social process. Now he says marketing starts even before the product is made. First of all, the seller finds out what do the people want, and then he makes product according to what they want, according to the taste and liking, and then he brings it to them and sells it to them. And then after selling also marketing goes on, because after sales service etc. is also done. So he said marketing is a social process by which individual groups obtain what they need, and through creating offering, he has to offer them what they want and freely exchanging products and service of value to the others. People will buy your goods only when they feel that it is giving them the value for which they're paying the money. So marketing has got these 4 features: needs and wants. First of all, the seller sees what do the people want. Then according to what they want, he creates a market offering. For example, people want a very small family car, so he will make a family car, small, less price family car. Then it should give them more customer value as compared to the other products. And all this has to be done through a exchange mechanism. Is what you're offering to them, they should be willing to accept, and what they're offering, you should be willing to accept. Now let us do the functions of marketing. There are 12 functions of marketing. The first function is gathering and analyzing information. Nowadays, before a product is launched, a lot of information is gathered from the market, so that whatever you're launching after doing so much of survey, that doesn't go wrong. For example, when instant noodles were first launched in India, an extensive research was done as to whether people will buy it or not, because after spending so much of money on machinery and advertisement etc., and if people don't buy it, then it's a loss, it's a waste. So first of all, the marketeer is the seller. He finds out what do the people want. Then he conducts a SWOT analysis. SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. The product that he wants to launch, what is going to be the strength of that product, and where does it lack, and then what opportunities available for him, and what could be the possible threat. So all this study he does, and then he decides as to which type of product should be launched. Nowadays, through the internet, people are running campaigns and finding out from the people as to what they want. So the first function of marketing is gathering and analyzing information. Then comes marketing planning. Everybody who wants to enter the market has to plan for the future. So how do you develop your plans? What do you foresee in the future? What more items can you add in the coming years? What target sales are you expecting? All that has to be decided today itself. So for example, somebody is selling color television in the market. So they expect the market to grow from 10% to 20% in the next 3 years. So you have to have the time period and the expectations that you want. Accordingly, then you can make your decisions and see whether it's coming up to the mark or not. Then the third function of marketing is product designing and development. Most of the time we pick up a product because of the design, especially automobiles. People fall in for the design of the car and then they buy it. Sometimes the car looks like a sports car, so you end up buying it. All these children's items like gems, etc., they're very attractive, so people buy because of the design. So the design of the product makes the product very attractive, and it also improves the performance. And therefore, spending a lot of time and effort on designing the product is also a very important function of marketing. Then standardization and grading. Now, the goods have to be made according to a benchmark or predetermined specifications. So those things that are man-made, like for example, chocolate. So if you're buying chocolate of a particular company, you expect a certain flavor. So next time you buy that chocolate, you expect that flavor. If you don't get that flavor, you may not buy it again. Or maybe you may buy it once or twice more and then you'll stop buying it. So there has to be a standard every organization has to keep for predetermined specifications for those products which are man-made, and those should be consistent and uniform, so that there's no need to inspect the product every time you buy it. For example, you're buying rice. So you're buying rice of a particular brand. So every time you buy the rice, you don't inspect it because you know this is the brand I'm buying and this is the quality of rice I'm going to get. But if you're buying rice from an open packet, then you have to check it and see whether this is the same one that I bought last time. So standardization eliminates the need to inspect the product every time. And this is generally for a man-made product. But grading is for agricultural products. So when you buy an agricultural product, they have to be graded because they don't grow according to your specification. So you grade them according to the quality, the size, etc. So grading is for agricultural products and standardization is for man-made products. Though I gave the example of rice, but just to see that you don't need to inspect it, standardization is a must. Then packaging and labeling. Now, what is packaging? Packaging is designing and developing the package. For example, fruity is available in a Tetra pack and it's very attractive. So designing the package is called packaging, and packaging is not only to make the product very attractive, but it is for protection also and promotion. And labeling is designing and developing the label. Whatever is written on the package is labeling. Anything and everything that is written on the package is called labeling. And these two together are called the pillars of marketing. Then comes branding. Now, suppose I want to buy a pen. So I go to the shop and ask, I want a pen. So he'll give me any pen. Suppose I ask, I want a Pilot pen. That means I'm taking the name of a brand. So I'm asking for a branded pen. So if I ask for a pen, just a pen, then it's called a generic name, a general name. So you have to decide whether you want to sell your product under a general name. For example, agricultural products, you want to sell your sugar as a general name, or do you want to give it a brand? So either it could be a generic name or a brand. But when you give your product a brand, then you have loyalty, brand loyalty, and you're able to distinguish your product with that of your competitor. Now, while you're deciding the brand, there are two strategies that you can adopt. First is separate brand. You can give each product a separate brand name like Tata does. Tata sells jewelry under Tanishq, watches under Titan, electronics under Chroma, clothes under Westside. So they have given each a separate brand name. This is called separate branding. Or you could sell all your products under the same brand. That is called blanket branding. Like Videocon, Philips, Samsung, etc. All the products are sold under the same name. So when you're deciding about the brand, you have two strategies to choose from, either separate brand for each product or a blanket branding. Then comes customer support service. These days, customer support service are very important. That is, once the customer has bought your product, you need to provide him after sale service also, especially in case of automobiles, etc., or electronic items. So 2-3 free services are given after you buy a car. And if anybody has any problem, like for example, somebody bought an electrical appliance and now it's not running properly, then there should be somebody to hear him out. Because if you don't hear him out, next time he will not buy things from you. And he'll tell others also that they are not listening to the problems. So whenever anything is bought, even a house, for example, then there may be certain services, maintenance services, technical services, they should be provided. This gives a very good impression about the company and it keeps the consumers satisfied. And it also brings repeat sales, because in India, the word spreads very fast. From one person to another, the word spreads and people come to know about your product and they buy it. So customer support service is yet another function of marketing. Then comes pricing of product. People are very sensitive to price. 1 rupee change in the price, they shift their preference to another brand. So price is what money the consumer has to pay for a product. So lower the price, more will be the demand. This you must have done in economics also. But before fixing the price, the seller has to decide about a number of things, like what is going to be the pricing objective, whether he wants to be a leader or whether he wants to just start selling his product, and when is he going to change the price, etc. We will be doing this part again later on in another video. Then comes promotion. Promotion is telling people about your product and its features and persuading them to buy it. For example, if I tell you, have you ever bought Vijay shoes? I know your answer will be no, because they don't exist. I've just coined it. So if you don't know about a product, you will never buy. So promotion is making people aware of your product, aware of the features of the product, and persuading them to buy it. And there are 4 tools, that is advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, and publicity. This also we are going to do in detail later on in another video. Then comes physical distribution. Now, physically, the goods have to move from the manufacturer to the buyer. It has to reach you. And there are two major decisions to be taken. One is the channel of distribution is via media. So if the goods are going to travel all around the world, then how are they going to travel? Like, for example, tea. Tea is grown in Assam. If I want to consume it here, then how is it going to reach? Who is going to be the wholesaler, retailer? What channel is to be used? And then the physical movement of goods. So how are the goods to be moved from there to the ultimate consumer? And here you have to see how much do you need to store, the retailer, how much of the goods does he need to store in the warehousing, what means of transportation is he going to use, etc. Then finally, the transportation part, that is the physical movement of goods from one place to another. Now, these goods that are moved from one place to the other, it adds to the cost. Transportation adds to the cost. Therefore, the logistics of transportation has to be done very carefully. I cannot go to Assam to buy tea, but from Assam, tea is sold all over the world. So they have worked out the transportation. So as a result, when you are considering this function, you have to see the nature of the product, the cost of location, cost and the location of the target market. All this has to be considered while the modes of transport is to be decided, and that is also very important. And then finally, the storage or warehousing. Almost all type of goods need to be stored. Even if you go to a sweet shop and tell him to give you, let's say, samosa, even that he fries and keeps it somewhere before he gives it to you. So a little bit of storage, everything is required for everything. So storage is basically to cover the time lag between production and sale. So storage may be needed because of irregular demand, like for example, woolens. We will buy woolens during winter. We don't buy it throughout the year, neither are they sold. So because of irregular demand, the demand is not throughout the year. Woolens are sold only during winter. So that is why you need to store, the seller needs to store it throughout the year. Or it could be irregular supply, like for example, agricultural products. Now sugar we buy throughout the year, rice we buy throughout the year, but they don't grow throughout the year. They grow only during a particular season. The supply is only during a particular season, but it is consumed throughout the year. So because of irregular supply, these things need to be stored. So storing is also a very important function of marketing. And sometimes you need to store to avoid delays. The goods, maybe the truck transport people are on strike, so you need to store some goods. So again, storage is needed. And who does this function? The manufacturers, wholesalers, and the retailers do these functions. So all these 12 functions together are important for marketing to take place. So that brings us to the case study. Now let's see. Now first we'll see what is being asked. Name the 3 functions of marketing. So we have studied 12 functions, and out of that 3 functions have to be identified. Radhika was a student of business studies, okay. Her father was a farmer who grew different varieties of rice and well versed about various aspects of rice cultivation. He was also selected by the government for a pilot project on rice cultivation. As a project work in business studies, she decided to study the feasibility of marketing good quality rice at a reasonable price. Her father suggested her to use internet to gather customers' views and opinion. She found that there is a huge demand for packed organic rice. She knew that there was no predetermined specification in case of rice, because of which it was difficult to achieve uniformity in the output. So to differentiate the product from the competitors, she gave it a name, Malabari organic rice, and classified into 3 different varieties, popular, classic, and supreme, on the basis of quality. She felt these names would help in product differentiation. So name the 3 functions of marketing with reference to the above paragraph. Okay. So I'll give you a moment, as always, to go through it and find out those 3 points while you recollect the functions. Okay, I hope you have done it. So let me share it with you. Yes, gather information, the very first point. Then no predetermined specifications means standardization and grading. And then she gave it a name, a brand name, to differentiate it from the other product. That means branding. These are the 3 functions that are being talked about. So let's see the solution. Gathering and analyzing information, standardization and grading, and branding. So this is how we go about doing the case studies. Okay, that's all in this video. Thank you.